I was getting ready to head out this morning. I'm going to do some painting on some of my Jeeps, and I walked by the computer and I saw a comment that was interesting to me, and I really want you to pay very, very, very close attention to this video because the terms in it and the practices are very important to you if you are a dealer or you are a consumer. And so the question was asking me to check the South Carolina rules, because if it was his understanding that you could not display a car and you could not consign a car to a dealer. So South Carolina, in other words, you couldn't even you had to own the car before you could display it, and you could only display it at your lot. Well, let me explain what that actually means. I can display that car anywhere that I want to. I'm not restricted from where I display that car. If McDonald's will let me put my car down there on display, there's no law against that in any state as far as I know. Now, the key word here is display, not sell. So you could go to McDonald's, for instance, and put a for sale sign on your car, even though you're a dealer, and as long as you did not make that transaction at McDonald's, you're perfectly legal. So you could display the car, people could look at the car, or whatever, and I've done this, by the way. They can look at the car, you can show them the car, discuss the car with them. When the transaction has to take place, you have to take that person who saw that car displayed at McDonald's to your dealer location and close the paperwork there. Now, that's the only way that the buyer is protected, okay? And that buyer has recourse against you in any state if you violate that transaction law. But to my knowledge, and I did have one tell me yesterday in a comment that I didn't know what I'm talking about. Well, let me tell you this. I don't know much about anything. I don't claim to be a very smart man, okay? But I've been in this business since I was raised in this business since I was 12 years old. And I've been in every facet of the car business. General manager at huge dealerships, salesman owning dealerships. My world, my life has revolved around the car business. So there is one thing that I know perfectly well beyond anything else and under the sun, and that is the car business. And the rules have not changed for umpteen years in the car business. Do they need to change? Yes, they do, but they have not changed. So make sure you understand the word display and transaction. You can display anything you want to anywhere that will allow you to display that. But if you cannot, as a dealer, you cannot make that transaction until you get back to your physical location and that customer signs those documents. Now, if you don't carry that customer back, I think I repeated it earlier in this video, that customer can simply go to the state authority and have you fined for making that transaction outside of your location. Can't have you fined for displaying that car. That customer cannot say, he can say, I looked at it at McDonald's, but as long as you say we signed the documentation at the location, you're perfectly legal. Now, there was something else that I wanted to think about or talk about. It's caveat emptor. I don't know if any of you or most of you may know that term. It's buyer beware. And what the comment also said in there was there was no laws to protect you against curb stoning, wholesale dealers against curb stoning. No, there's no laws to protect anyone against curb stoning. It doesn't protect the dealer because it's absolutely prohibited by the dealer. I just explained those paperwork has to go back to the dealer. So the dealer's not protected by curb stoning. Wholesale dealers aren't supposed to be retailing cars. So you're supposed to go to the dealer and consign that car to the dealer. And there's no such thing, by the way, as a dealer that will not take consignments. There's no law anywhere against anybody taking consignments. And again, for private individuals, there's no law to protect the buyer when you buy a car, curb stoning or otherwise. When you buy a car from a private individual, that buyer is buyer beware. That private individual can clip the miles on that car. They can go buy the rebuilt. There's no restrictions of what a personal buyer can do if an individual is buying that car from them. They're not regulated by any state anywhere. So there's no laws to protect anybody against curb stoning. Curb stoning is not specifically a written law. Okay, now it's lobbied against all the time, but you're never going to be able to control curb stoning. People are always going to put vehicles or whatever they want to sell out in their front yard. You put that vehicle out in your front yard, that's considered curb stoning. So it's a very gray area as far as curb stoning. And displaying anything anywhere, no law is going to regulate you from displaying a vehicle anywhere. On a final note on this video, okay, I mentioned that you can't display your cars anywhere, but I'm going to even go one step further. Some states, and particularly one that I know of, is Alabama. Okay, I can go and I can set all of my cars down at McDonald's if I want to, and if McDonald's will agree to it, and get a $5 permit, special event sale permit. It's $5 from the state of Alabama. I can put all my cars down there and I can say I'm going to do this from Friday until Sunday. And that law will allow me to do all of my transactions from McDonald's there. I do not have to go back to the lot because now I've got a special event license to sell cars at on a premises off my dealer location. So it's a special event permit, and it's only available to licensed dealers. So, and it must be licensed retail dealers. So you need to understand the terminology here: display and sell. No laws against display. There is a law against selling to an individual off premises if you're a licensed dealer. That's to recap.